My next guest takes on Mads Burnell coming up here at UFC Fight Night 124 on January 14th. It is Mike Santiago joining me here on the program for the very first time. Mike, how are you?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Am I catching you after the gym this morning or going to the gym? Where are you headed to?
Yeah, right before the gym this morning.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you having me part of your morning routine. And first time I've had you on the show, and I know people have probably seen you on the Contender Series and obviously in the UFC, but I want to know, where did it all begin for you? How did you get involved in combat sports?
Well, I've been wrestling and playing sports my whole life since I was about 5 or 6 years old. But I really stuck to wrestling right in high school. I moved away about an hour away from the city, closer to the city where I grew up. And I don't know, man, the guys out there where I moved, they had their own feeder programs, so they knew the kids coming up in their football programs and their baseball programs. And wrestling was kind of my outlet. So I just wrestled from all 4 years of high school. I started watching the Ultimate Fighter show. I started seeing fights and stuff. And, high school kids are always getting into fights. So I got into my fair share. And after that, I was like, I thought to myself, all the champions at that time, GSP, Matt Hughes, they were all wrestlers. I was like, well, I'm a pretty good wrestler. So, after high school, I started, right after I was done, I found the closest gym to me and got right to training.
When was that moment for you where you kind of realized, like, hey, I can actually make a run at this. I'm pretty good.
I trained for about 3 months maybe before my first amateur fight. And I didn't do any type of like mixed martial arts training. I just trained like circuit training and like ground and pound and like wrestling basically. And because the gym that I was at really didn't have like a program. It was just a couple guys in there, and I didn't know any better. So I was like, yeah, cool, dude, I'm down. I'm just trying to scrap, And I think it was when I turned pro. I think it was like 2009 or 2010. I was like, damn. I was like, I'm a professional athlete now. Thinking about it, and I mean, I had one pro fight, and after that, I was like, you know what, this is really what I want to do. So
very cool. And
ever since then, man, it's been on,
and it's worked out for you, man. You're a member of the UFC roster, which is awesome. Now, are you a full-time fighter now? Like, do you have another job on the side that pays the bills, or are you just doing fighting and that's it?
Yeah. I'm just fighting right now. I do have clients that I train like throughout the week at the gym.
Oh, like personal training or like teaching?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, personal training class. Yeah, I go in the morning and train from like about 8 a.m. to about maybe noon, and then I start my day.
Excellent. No, that's good. Do you find that business has picked up since you've been in the UFC? Just because you can kind of market yourself as, hey, I'm a UFC fighter. I can, I know a thing or two about personal training.
Yeah, it has a little bit, but I don't want to really put too much time into that right now since I'm just starting my UFC career. So I have about 5 or 6 clients that I've had for a long time now that I'll just keep with them for right now, and then once I really get my career going in the UFC, then I can start really marketing myself a little bit more.
You have a really interesting career. There was a point in your career when you were 10-8, and then ever since then you went and won 11 in a row. And of course, we remember you from the Contender Series where you got that huge win, and then that earned you the UFC contract. What sort of changed for you that obviously what wasn't working before started working for you?
Well, yeah, that was a rough patch, man. I wasn't even just losing in MMA. I did pro boxing, I did pro kickboxing, and it just wasn't going my way. And I was like, what is going on here? I didn't know. And, I think I took just a couple days off the gym just to really sit down with myself, like, okay, do I want to stop? Or I was like, you know what? No, that's not me. I'm not stopping. There's no way. I want to stay active. I want to keep fighting. And I think I trained for a couple of months. Specifically, I found a great jiu-jitsu school, Alliance Chicago, and I just, I trained my ass off. I was like, man, I got to make one more run at this. And yeah, I went on that 10-fight streak or 11-fight streak and finally made it to the Contender show. And now I'm here.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. And of course, you had your UFC debut already. I know things didn't go your way in that one, but you fought one of the toughest. I mean, not a lot of people are taking that fight. Let's be honest. I mean, Zabit had a very, he had a very impressive record heading into the UFC, and you took that overseas and you went and you fought him. What do you sort of take away from that fight? Is it the fact that you got the jitters out of the way, maybe, or what would you sort of take away from that fight?
I'm not going to take another high-level fight like that in 6 days, 7 days. No, but there was no way that I wasn't going to take it.
Yeah.
Zabit, he's tough. But, I feel like with a full camp, I'll see him again. We'll say that. We'll see each other again. I know his camp. I fought a number of guys from the East Coast camp. I came from Ring of Combat, I was their feeder for a little while, and then I started winning, their championships and started putting my name out there. But yeah, it was like I've got a lot of fights, man, like a lot. Not like I said, not just MMA, but boxing, kickboxing, and so I think it was just that the timing was perfect. I wasn't too nervous. I was regular nervous, like for regular fight. Leading up to the fight, I was like, oh damn. I was like, I'm here now. I was like, but okay. So in the back of the locker room, I just got maybe a little bit more nervous than usual because finally in the UFC. But other than that, yeah, just not taking two high level fights within like a 8 or 9 day span overseas. But it was a great experience, man.
Now you've got a full camp here. You're taking on Mads Burnell. I actually butchered his name off the top. Apologies, Mads, if you're watching this. But he's got the 8-2 record, and I mean, you've got 31 fights. The experience definitely goes to you in this one. How do you feel like you match up against him?
I think it's a great fight. Like I said, man, I have full camp. I'm healthy. Everything's going smooth. I think he's a black belt jiu-jitsu, and I train with a lot of high level guys on the ground over here. And I know what he's looking for. I've seen patterns in his game, and and recently I actually been watching tape on guys. Like I said, I got 31 fights, and I really never. I was like, okay, who's this guy? Let's see what his record is. Let's see how he's winning. Let's see how he's losing, and then I go by that. I really wouldn't sit down and take the time to okay, let's watch this guy. Let's see what he's all about, and break certain things down. He's got a tough record, but I've been on the short end of the stick more times he's fought. So I think that puts me in front of him.
You mentioned your training camp. Who are some of your main training partners that you've been working with ahead of this matchup?
A couple weeks ago, my boy Ricardo Lamas, he's fighting this coming weekend. I was training with him for a while. PJ Cahigas. Mike Della Vega, everyone at my gym, all the pro guys at my gym, they're on the lower level circuit. David Garcia, a couple guys they fought for Bellator and CS. Yeah, man, that's just a couple guys, and then my jiu-jitsu team in Alliance there's a bunch of. I mean, it's a specifically jiu-jitsu school, and that's really what puts a difference in okay, my MMA school and my jiu-jitsu school. Okay, I'll go there and after a camp, like after a full camp, I won't put the gi on too much. But after a camp is over, I'll go back there and put the gi on with the guys a little bit. Go kind of into their world.
Because this fight's on January 14th, how does this impact the holiday season for you, especially when it comes to eating that good food around the season? Do you have to skip some meals? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I'll skip a couple of meals, but I love to fight, and I wanted to fight around this time. I wanted to fight earlier. I kept bugging my manager. I'm like, yo, dude, let's get back into it, man. Like I'm trying to stay active. He's like, just chill, just relax. And then I wanted to I try to get on the same card as Lamas. That didn't happen, but it's because then we would have just went through camp together. I mean, we kind of did, but he left for Miami, and yes, but it doesn't really bother me. I'm doing something that I love, and as long as I get to spend time with my friends and family over the holidays, that's really all I care about. Food will always be there. Friends and family.
And you can always put food in the freezer, right, and have it after the fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be my
Exactly.
game plan. And speaking of freezing cold, I actually think you dodged a bullet not fighting on that Winnipeg card, because I know Chicago gets cold, but Winnipeg, oh my God, I'm up here in Canada, and I know how cold it gets in Winnipeg, man. So I think you're probably better off, fighting in St. Louis, which is a little bit nicer.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's cold out here right now, man. It's been the last couple of days in Chicago have been pretty rough.
We get the same. I live in Toronto, Canada, so I'm not that far away from you. But it's the same thing. We just got like a freezing notice today with the weather, and I think it's going to be a cold one today. But good thing I'm indoors and staying warm.
Right.
How do you see this fight playing out on January 14th? I mean, you're going to get the win. You wouldn't have taken the fight, but how do you sort of see it unfolding?
Absolutely. I'll go out there, and I've been doing a couple of things differently through this camp, just because I'm kind of a slow starter. I don't want to do that anymore. If I'm a finisher, I like to finish fights, and I think that's how it's gonna happen. I'll go out there, definitely get the win. I'm gonna finish him, whether it's on the ground or standing. But yeah, man, I'm definitely winning this fight.
We talked all about your fighting career and everything like that. What about your downtime? What do you like getting up to? Are you watching Netflix? You playing some video games? What would I find you doing when you're not in the gym, not training?
There's only a couple things on TV that I like to watch. I'm talking Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, Food Network. I love to cook. I cook every single day. I'm one of those guys who needs a meal prep company. When I'm here cooking good food every single day. I love to be outdoors. I live right above like a forest preserve area. It's like literally my backyard. I'll go kayaking. I love fishing. I just like to be outdoors and spend time with my girl, spend time with my family, my friends.
Excellent. That sounds good. Being from Chicago, are you a Chicago sports fan at all? Do you follow any of the teams?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk some sports. What are you into? Like, are you a basketball guy, football guy, hockey guy? What would I find you watching?
Football, baseball. Bears, Cubs. But I'll support all my Chicago teams. A lot of my boys play basketball, so we're always watching basketball. The Bulls, obviously. The Bears, the Cubs. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, go White Sox. Okay, yeah, they're a Chicago team, but I was raised, man, on the Cubs. My grandfather, he coached me playing baseball when, growing up, and we'd be the Cubs all the time.
Awesome, man. I love hearing that stuff. And everyone's got to check out this fight, man. It's a UFC Fight Night 124 coming up here January 14th. Mike, it was great getting a chance to talk to you, man. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I appreciate you having me, man. I love to do this type of stuff. Helps me, helps you, helps everyone. My Facebook is Michelangelo Santiago. My Twitter is @msantiagomma. Same thing along with Instagram, msantiagomma. I just want to thank my teams, Top Notch, right here in Villa Park, Alliance Jiu-Jitsu, all my training partners, everyone who supported me through all these fights that I've had, and, has had my back through all this, and all my sponsors have helped me, Grip Mouth Guards, and Cane Management, everyone, man. There's really so many right now, but yeah, just everyone. If I missed you guys, love you guys, and thank you for all.